A bombshell new article from Radar Online claims that Prince Harry is, quote, angry and frustrated at how his new life, living the promised American dream.
The California sun, once a beacon of hope for Prince Harry, now casts long shadows of doubt. He feels deeply misled. The American dream, promised as a land of freedom and opportunity, has instead become a gilded cage. Gone is the vibrancy he craved. In its place, a sterile and isolating existence. This is not the life he envisioned for himself, for his children. The prince is beginning to question everything. Did he sacrifice too much? Was it all worth it? The whispers of regret grow louder with each passing day. He yearns for connection, for purpose. Instead, he finds himself adrift in a sea of privilege, desperately seeking an anchor.
Has turned into a behind-closed-door nightmare locked in a Rapunzel-like tower with his wife, Meghan Markle. I'm going to get all the insight from Lady Colin Campbell, who has been reporting on this before anyone else, in just 1 second. But first, let me take you through these new details. So Radar Online reports that sources have revealed that 5 years since the Duchess of Sussex set in motion the plan that would see them quit the royal family, Harry feels like he was, quote, missold the idea. Radar Online's source says Meghan sold their move to America as a way for their family to be happy, free, and relatively normal. But that doesn't seem to be the case for them and their kids at all. It's almost as if they, as a family, are living like Rapunzel in her tower. Even the locals in Montecito are puzzled. Archie and Lily are rarely seen with Meghan or Harry at local events like trick-or-treating at Halloween, for example. Harry is angry and frustrated at how things have turned out. He feels like he's been missold a life, plus he and Meghan are also leading pretty much separate lives. It's like they are an estranged couple living under the same roof. The children, by the way, according to Radar Online, are believed to attend a local school and nursery, and some online commenters have cheekily dubbed Lilibet Invisibet because the princess, who was born in California, has been seen even less frequently in public than her older brother. But a source added the biggest shock for Harry is that he thought raising the kids away from the royal family would give them more freedom. In California, though, the opposite has happened. In fact, Archie and Lilibet's world seems even more cosseted than his own upbringing as an heir to the British crown.
This jarring realization has shaken him to his core. The fairy tale has crumbled, leaving behind a bitter aftertaste. The prince is at a crossroads, trapped by his choices, yet desperate to break free. Will he find his way back from this precipice of disillusionment, or will he succumb to the growing despair?
It also says that Harry thinks that his kids deserve similar normal experiences growing up as his mother, Princess Diana, provided him, but Meghan is reluctant. One more real bombshell source quote here. Harry feels as if they are living in a bubble. He's beginning to think he had more freedom as a kid growing up in a palace. Of course, while Harry, like Meghan, will always prioritize their kids' safety, he's worried Archie and Lilibet are missing out too. Well, Lady Colin Campbell, of course, we have been reporting on the strains in the marriage before anyone in the mainstream media. However, fascinating details here from Radar Online, and I have to give Radar Online credit because they have been brave on this story where many of their contemporaries in America have not been.
Yes, well, it's interesting, but you notice, Dan, how wide a net they cast, and some of it is actually quite accurate. For instance, the fact that had those children been brought up in Britain and living within the royal fold, Windsor is very protected, and Windsor has a lot of acreage, a hell of a lot more than Montecito. Sandringham, Balmoral, these, even the palaces in London, they are rather large complexes, except of course for Clarence House, which is a relatively small house. But the king lives in Clarence House. But the rest of the palaces are pretty large complexes. And they would have been having a suite of rooms in one of the palaces. So they would have benefited from the freedom that being ring-fenced by the royal protection squad would have provided them with. And it is when Harry goes on about, on the one hand, about how free California is, it's not free. First of all, you have to drive everywhere. Secondly, you're in a gated community and you really don't have that much contact with your neighbors. And if you break it down, the children are very isolated, and they would inevitably be isolated in a way that had they been within the royal fold here, they would not have been isolated. Because, for instance, in Kensington Palace, you know, it's a vast complex. I'm sure you know it's a vast complex, but the public might not know, where you have some pretty grand apartments, but you have lots of little cottages and smaller apartments. And it's a village. It's a true village. And it's a village that's shut off from everywhere else. So there is a freedom there. And of course, if they are at Sandringham or Balmoral, they're on thousands of acres of protected property. So quite how, on the one hand, Harry and could feel that the children would benefit from a freer upbringing in California than they'd have here. It's again, it's a sign of, I'm sorry, insanity.
And what leads to that insanity? The mind boggles. You've had lots of impeccable sources on this. Do you think Radar Online's description as an estranged couple living under the same roof is broadly accurate?
I think it's certainly accurate some of the time. I don't know that it's accurate all of the time, but I think it is accurate some of the time. Harry and Meghan's relationship it follows a classical mold for particular personality types, and it's occasional ecstasy and lots of agony. And Meghan is notorious for having given all her men a tremendously rocky ride and a very hard time. You know, she has no compunction about flying into their face over everything and nothing. And my understanding is that she's absolutely no different with Harry than she was with Trevor, who certainly deserved a medal. In fact, he deserved to be sainted. But she's done it with other men as well. And I would not be surprised if they play the public to a large extent, because they are trapped at this point with each other. And in a relationship like that, no matter how unhappy you are and no matter how much you yearn to depart, it's not that easy to extricate yourself, whether you are in the public eye or not in the public eye. And when you're in the public eye, it makes it even more difficult to extricate yourself. So, you know, there's a facade that's everything is fine, everybody is happy, that's maintained. And you notice when Harry was speaking to Sorkin, he said that he didn't say what his ambition was going to be for 30 years hence, but he made sure he got in that he's a good husband and father.
Montecito, with its sprawling estates and manicured lawns, promised privacy and tranquility. Instead, it has become a gilded cage for Prince Harry. He feels suffocated, his every move scrutinized. The walls of their luxurious mansion seem to close in, a constant reminder of his isolation. The dream of a relaxed, carefree life feels further away than ever. Meghan, once his rock, seems content within this gilded cage. She cherishes the safety and seclusion it provides, but for Harry it feels like a prison.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Course he is. No, indeed. And I think people have to be very clear that Harry's words in New York were purposefully vague, because
right.
we have always been clear, Lady C, in our reporting that while there are strains in the relationship, it is a much bigger decision for this couple to decide to separate or divorce. And there are many other factors at play, including finances, including security, including where the children would live. And so he decided to almost make it all about divorce, whereas actually he wasn't prepared to at all address the issues that are quite clearly there in the relationship. But Lady C, I want to talk to you about some other bad behavior from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, because this week they released a video, which we're going to take a little look at, which was promoting the Archewell Foundation. I find it quite bizarre that they think there's anything to be proud of, though, Lady C, given that they only raised $1 million, which is nothing given the power that they have, given the wealth of the friends that they have, and also given the fact that they ended up then donating $250,000 of that to Joe Biden's daughter. Surely not a woman who needs the money given her connections. But if we just have a look at this video now, this video was released, Lady C, on the exact day that the royal family in the UK were hosting the state visit for Qatar, where I know that Harry and Meghan were absolutely livid that David and Victoria Beckham, their former close friends, were guests of honour. And of course, this goes against an unwritten rule within members of the royal family, which is that just stay away from a state visit. Just allow the state visit to take centre stage. This was purposeful, wasn't it, by Harry and Meghan?
You know, what are they actually telling us? They're actually telling us that their labours have been minuscule and that their results have been negligible. And they have tried yet again to muscle in and to knock the proper royal family out of the headlines, but they didn't succeed, because every time they do something like this, they still get attention, but it's lower down the totem pole than it used to be. 4 years ago, if they'd done something like this, it would have been lead news. Now it's not lead news. So they have overplayed their hand systematically. And as for giving $250,000 to the Biden girls charity, that comes perilously a political donation.
Yes. Perilously close. Indeed, it does. And I also just thought, goodness me, you've only raised $1 million. I mean, that's pathetic. I know some people might think, oh, that sounds like a lot of money. Trust me, when you're dealing with their figures, that is a pathetic effort. They only put an hour of work into Archewell, the charitable side, every week. And then they decide, oh, let's give quarter of everything that we've raised to Joe Biden's daughter. A clear attempt to muster political influence. I just think it says a lot about them. But the other big... Oh, sorry, Lady C, you come in.
Oh, I was going to say, but doesn't it also show yet again what poor judgment they have?
Oh, terrible.
Because of course, they were hoping that Biden would be a shoo-in. Not only was Biden not a shoo-in, nor was his acolyte Harris, and now they have Trump to deal with.
He paces the manicured lawns, restless and yearning for more. The California sun, once a symbol of hope, now feels oppressive, baking his discontent. He watches his children, Archie and Lilibet, confined within the same gilded cage. Their laughter echoes in the vast emptiness of their home. a poignant reminder of their isolation. Harry wants more for them. He wants them to experience the world, to feel the embrace of a community. But for now, they remain hidden from view, much like Rapunzel in her tower.
Indeed. Indeed. And I cannot wait. But Lady C, sorry, there is one other topic I have to ask you about this week because it just made me howl with laughter. I have to be honest, this report, I'm going to read it to you. Meghan Markle's embattled lifestyle business, American Riviera Orchard, is being written off as a flop because having announced with great fanfare back in March that she had began a search for a suitable chief executive officer, with a source even telling the Daily Mail at the time Meghan is interviewing candidates for the CEO role. Prince Harry's wife was unable, apparently, to find anyone who matched her expectations. Now insiders say she has found the perfect candidate, Lady C, herself. A source close to Meghan leaked to the New York Post she is the CEO of American Riviera Orchard. Good Lord. Good Lord. This is going to be a terrible business, isn't it?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of us all? Me, me, me. I love me. I'm the best person in the world. She is absolutely beyond a joke. But I would have thought that any chance a right oik had, American Riviera Orchard, had
I
to
like
succeed.
that.
Thank you. Has just been buried.
Yeah.
It's so I think maybe Harry helped to scratch up the earth and bury that bit of matter underneath another banyan tree. Meow, says I. But she is not capable of running a company of that. I think, Dan, if I can just very briefly explain, some years ago, Arnold Scarsi suggested that I do a jewelry line for the shopping channel. And I looked into it and spoke to the head of the, what's it called, the shopping network thing. I can't remember what it's called now. But you have to have, for every product that you are making available for sale, you have to have in the warehouse several hundred dozen ready and waiting in case it's a success. And if it's not a success, you stand the hit because you have to then somehow get rid of that stock.
Whispers of discontent echo through the halls of the Sussex mansion. The once united front is crumbling. Harry and Meghan, once inseparable, now lead increasingly separate lives. The strain is palpable. Their visions for the future, once aligned, now diverge like tributaries flowing in opposite directions. Harry, ever the extrovert, craves connection and purpose. He wants to make a difference in the world, to be a visible force for good. Meghan, scarred by her experiences with the British press, prioritizes privacy and security above all else. Her focus remains firmly on protecting her family from the prying eyes of the world. This fundamental difference in their outlooks has created a chasm between them. Their conversations, once filled with laughter and shared dreams, are now strained, punctuated by silences heavy with unspoken resentment. The fairy tale romance, once the envy of the world, is now plagued by doubt and uncertainty. As Harry approaches his 40th birthday, a sense of melancholy washes over him. He can't shake the feeling that he's taken a wrong turn somewhere. The life he's built in America, for all its luxury and privilege, feels hollow. The whispers of regret, once easily dismissed, now resonate deep within his soul. He watches his children play, their laughter a bittersweet symphony. He yearns for them to have a different childhood, one filled with the freedom and joy he remembers from his own younger years. The thought of them growing up shielded from the world, confined within the gilded cage of their Montecito estate, fills him with a profound sadness. Meanwhile, Meghan remains resolute in her desire for privacy. She has found solace in the quiet life they've built in Montecito. The criticism she faces, both from the British tabloids and even some within their own community, has only strengthened her resolve. She is determined to shield her family from the negativity and intrusion that she believes drove them from Britain. The stage seems set for a heartbreaking impasse, a clash of wills that threatens to shatter the fragile peace of their Californian idyll.